In this episode, we're gonna be sculpting the mouth. Doesn't get any better. You definitely need to try these gloves. The project for next month is definitely happening, and I answer questions and hang out with people. I really appreciate it, and to show you my appreciation, I'm gonna give you the bonus contents for this tutorial for free.
I'm pulling that backwards for that reason. A slight M shape, even though we just started, just want you to have fun. That is what was crashing Blender. Beautiful. The lower part, kind of lost my voice. This is looking good. We're gonna take the clay strips and add a very important part, and that is the final result. So yeah,
And I will see you guys real soon.
wait, hold up, let's rewind.
I'm gonna put it to airplane mode. Hey guys, just give me 1 second. I'm getting some things ready. Yep, definitely no fancy coffee for me, man. Just a pure coffee with no sugar. Doesn't get any better. This is one of the best investments I've ever made. So if you're drawing, sculpting using a tablet, or even drawing on a paper, you definitely need to try these gloves. Hey, how you guys doing? My name is Yan. In this episode, we're gonna be sculpting the mouth. And I actually got this idea from my latest stream on YouTube, so if you guys didn't check it out yet, the latest video that I published was actually a live stream. And when I streamed, a lot of people came. You guys were pretty awesome. So if you're watching this and you're in the stream, again, I really love this stream, so I'm gonna be doing it again. And someone asked me how to do the lips, so I decided to make a video on it. But hold your horses. Before we start talking about the lips and the mouth, I got a lot of information to share with you guys today, and a lot of them are awesome. So give me a minute to talk about these, and then we'll get to the mouth part. Oh, you noticed? Notice this over here? So this is the amazing storage that I talked about last time and invested in, which is quite expensive but very much worth it. So I needed a huge amount of space to store my data for the new project that I'm working on. And now that I got this and set up the system and basically have everything backed up, synchronized, I can tell you guys that the project for next month is definitely happening. I'll be talking more about that in details. I'll actually pretty much reveal it in the next stream. Speaking about the live streaming, I don't know when to start streaming yet. I know I want to stream once per week here on YouTube because I had a lot of fun last time with you guys, and I was able to answer your questions, you know, show you right in front of you how to sculpt a certain thing depending on what you ask, and that's basically what I'm doing this tutorial right over here today. But I can't do it more than a day because I'm already streaming on my Instagram. So if you want some random streaming of, I don't know, I just do it when I feel like it and I want to stream a character, I do it on Instagram. So go check me out over there, and I answer questions and hang out with people. If you guys want me to stream over here, let me know which day you guys prefer. You know, do you guys prefer Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe in the week, and which time? For the time, I prefer if you tell me in EST. So just go check it up on Google, the EST timing, and tell me which time you guys prefer. Just give me an average of which is a good timing to watch my videos. Before we start, I'd like to give a little shout out to all my patrons for supporting me for the past few months. I really appreciate it. And to show you my appreciation, I'm gonna give you the bonus contents for this tutorial for free in your inbox. So go check out your inbox. I'm gonna be sending you each a message. And if you guys don't know my Patreon, go check it out because I did a lot of cool new changes for the perks. I really think it's worth checking out if you want to see my tutorials. I'm also putting the bonus contents on my Gumroad, so if you guys enjoy this video and want more of these kind of contents and you want to support the channel, that's one way to do it. Let's start the video.
All right, let's jump right to it. So we're gonna start with the sphere because I love starting with spheres. We're gonna go to the sculpt mode and make sure that the symmetry is activated at X and activate dynamic topology. So I'm gonna start with 6 for now. What you want to do at the beginning, and generally you want to do that with everything really, is just play around with the basic shape. So don't go too much into details. And keep in mind, we're just sculpting the mouth, so this is not the face. We're just shaping the shape around the mouth. And since the mouth is not flat, in case you did not know, I'm pulling that backwards for that reason. Try to shape a almost a circular shape right over here, but not quite. Alright, that should do it for a start. So another thing you would notice is that I'm keeping the lower part a bit behind the upper part right over here, because the upper lips, they go a bit ahead of the lower lips, and we're going to be seeing that in a second. Alright, so with the crease brush right over here, we're gonna create a slight M shape, but don't go overboard with it. Okay, and then we're gonna pull this back, and as usual, we're gonna look at all sides and make sure that it is looking good in every direction. one mistake a lot of artists do when sculpting is that they focus too much on the front view or the side view and they don't look at the other views, which at the end will make the character look weird. Alright, this should do it for now. So I like to start focusing with the upper lip, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the lower lip, and I'm gonna do that with the clay strips. I'm just gonna use the control button to get the negative direction, as you can see right here. So I removed the lower lip, and then we got the muscles right over here that are right under, so we're gonna mark it right away. Right over here, and then there's this part under the lips, which will make sense in a minute, because right now it might look a little weird, but after I add the flesh, the muscles, and everything else, it's gonna make a lot more sense. Alright, so this is the chin right over here. I'm just pushing it out. And the reason I'm sculpting this part is just it'll be easier later on to sculpt the mouth if I have a little of the surroundings going on. Alright, this should do it. And again, make sure that the lower lip is not passing the front lip, well, the upper lip. It's a bit backwards. And we're gonna start sculpting the upper lip. Let's not waste time. So the reason the M shape was quite slight is because it's the upper part of the lip that usually has a very angular shape right over here. And it's not this part over here, because a lot of artists actually do that. This V shape down over here, and that's not how it works. Again, I'm just showing you the basics. Obviously, you're gonna have different types of lips. So, right over here, this part of the lip goes outwards, kind of like a bump. Alright. And the side over here, it's more flat, but we're still gonna add some flesh first, because it's looking way too flat right now. And then with the scrape brush, make sure that it is set at flat, the curve, and we can play around a bit over here, as you can see, and flatten this part out. And then this part over here kind of tucks in. So if you have a mirror with you like I do right now, just grab it and take a look at your own lips, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna try to mimic that shape over here. And don't forget to look at all sides, right? That's why I got these two screens over here. It really helps out. Alright. So even though we just started, you can see right away that we're starting to get a shape, which is pretty cool. Well, actually, I'm gonna stay with the scrape brush and kind of smooth things out over here. And I'm using both the smooth brush and the scrape brush. By the way, the screencast key sometimes bugs, so unless I notice, it will stay bugged. Sorry about that. So if you guys know any good screencast key plugin, let me know, because this one, as I just mentioned, bugs a lot. Alright, so what I personally like to do, it really helps out for me, is I like to get the crease brush over here and kind of push this down like that. And when I do that, I could get the scrape brush and I can use it over here to separate the lower and upper part, and then you get this really nice flesh right over here. And we'll be talking about this part in a minute because it's quite important. It's a part where a lot of muscles of the mouth and a lot of muscles over here, they meet and they create this bump over here. So it's quite important with characters. Okay. So this mouth has quite the character, and I'm actually quite happy with that. Then we got this part here that's called philtrum, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really going into the terms because I don't want to overwhelm you with information in this episode. Just want you to have fun, take a look at the shape, play around with it. Maybe in a future episode I'll go more into details on the anatomy behind this. Okay. So, let's play a little around with the lower lip. So we're gonna add the muscles over here. Alright, and I'm going to smooth it out. But I'll probably already mention this at the beginning of the video when I film it, but I thought of doing the mouth because the last stream that I did, the streaming that I did on YouTube, someone asked me how to do the mouth, and I thought, you know what, why not? A little video for you guys, focused on that, could be fun for both of us and informative. This is why I'm doing a video on this. Alright, so again, I'm switching brushes quite often, so do notice that. And I use control, as you can see over here, to do the negative effect. So without control, it pushes out. With control, it pushes backwards. Make sure you save quite often, because actually, Blender just crashed, and you might not notice that because I'm going to be doing some editing later on. But this is my third take, and I had to go back a few minutes every single time when I forgot to save, which is quite unusual for Blender to crash this way. I think it's because I installed a backup system today. Maybe it has to do with that, since it's synchronizing at the same time. So what I'm doing right now is that I'm looking at all sides and making sure everything is looking good. So looking at this part, I noticed that it's looking a little off, and the way you can know if it's looking off or not is by having a mirror with you. So I have a mirror with me right now, and I'm looking from under on my own lips, and I'm gonna pull this back a bit. There you go. So yeah, it's very, very helpful to have a mirror with you at all times when sculpting. And I'm gonna emphasize this bump a bit, but not too much. There you go. So at this point, it's pretty much refinement for the upper lip, and we still need to work on the lower lip. Alright, so for the lower lip, I'd like to use the M key for the mask tool. I'm going to mask the upper lip. Oh, here's a really, really cool tip, by the way. I figured this out a few days ago, and I was quite surprised because I never knew about this. If you use the shift when using the mask tool, you can actually blur things out, as you can see over here, and that's pretty awesome. Don't know if you guys knew about that or not. So with the control, I'm gonna remove some of the mask over here. And I want to be soft about it. I don't want harsh mask going on over here. Alright, so this should do it. Alright, so for the lower lip, again, make sure that it does not go ahead of the upper lip. And we're gonna pull this out a bit from here with the grab brush. Or we could use the clay strips and add some flesh manually this way. That could work too. So you want to be subtle about it. And again, very helpful to look at it from all sides. And the lower lip is actually generally bigger than the upper lip. So the character over here, the lips, it's kind of stylized. As you can see, the upper lip is quite big. But I'd still like to make the lower lip big enough. Otherwise, it'll look a bit weird. Unless intentionally done for your character's design. And that's a different story. But again, try to get the basics right first. It's quite important. Don't jump these steps, because if you do, you're going to fall. Alright, so the scrape brush again is quite a useful brush. As you can see, it gives this really nice refined look for your sculpts. Alright, so for the lower lip, it has kind of a bump over here, in the middle as well, obviously. And then it kind of stops over here, the bump. And right over here, take a look at your lips, you're gonna see that it kind of goes flat. So it gives this shape. Flat is probably not the exact word. I'm unsure which vocabulary would suit this place the best. But again, with a mirror, you'll understand what I mean. It's really subtle, but it makes the difference. Okay. So right now, I'm just cleaning the lower lips a bit with the scrape brush. And I am slightly mixing it up with the lower part, as you can see. And I also like to soften up the transition between the muscles over here and the lips. So I'm just gonna add a little more muscle. And then I'm gonna soften things up again with the scrape brush. Right over here, perfect. And this part is kind of straight in a way, right over here. So you could use the scrape brush to do that for you. And you need to learn how to use the brushes. Like, as you can see over here, I'm directing the shape with the scrape brush. So this comes with experience. The more you sculpt, the more you're gonna naturally do these kind of things. And it's looking good. However, as you can see over here, there's some issues going on, but that can be easily fixed, not to worry. Just going to remove the mask with Alt M, and I'm gonna start adding some more flesh right over here. Just ever so slightly, so that it doesn't mix up with the upper part. And hopefully in the future I'm gonna show you a really cool technique that I'm working on right now to do this without going through the hassle of, you know, slowly going closer and adding mesh or separating the two parts. But we'll talk about that in a different video. I like to keep you guys on your toes. Alright. So this is looking nice. I'm going to save this right now so it doesn't crash on me again. Gonna take a look at it and we'll be back in a second. Okay, after taking a second look, I have a pretty good idea on what I want to do before we end this video. By the way, I disabled the screencast keys because that is what was crashing Blender. So if you guys know a better screencast key plugin, please let me know. It'll be better for both of us. So what I want to do over here is push this part just a bit right over here. And I want to work on the philtrum, so this section right over here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a look again on my own lips and try to figure things out. So I want it to be a little more subtle. It's a bit too prominent right now. So I'm gonna add some flesh over here and make the philtrum a bit smaller because it was a bit too wide. There you go. I'm gonna take the scrape brush and I'm going to soften this part up, make sure that there's a smooth transition going on. Beautiful. All right. And just quickly cleaning things up over here. You take another look. And the other thing I wanted to fix is the lower lip. It's a bit too small, even though I sometimes like to stylize the character this way. You know, I still think it's a bit too small. So I'm gonna get the grab brush and just push the lower lip like this. I want to push it forward though. And then it usually has this shape over here, like around to here, and then goes backwards. So the lower part, it's a bit wider over here than over here. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me just exit the grease pencil and continue the modifications. So, as I explained a minute ago, the lower part should be wider, which is not the case over here. It's a bit too wide above. But I do like it, I do want to keep it, but let me just give it a go. Make it a bit closer over here. Because I do want you guys to learn the correct way, and then you can stylize it just like I'm doing right now. So hopefully you guys are getting the right information in. And again, there are a lot of types of lips, so it's a good idea to practice all the time. Make sure that you're trying new things out, because that's how you learn. We could also try to sharpen this part a bit with the crease brush right over here. Kind of lost my voice. So the crease brush with the control button, you can pull this out a bit, but not too much like I'm doing right now. So I'm gonna smooth it a bit with this brush over here, with the scrape brush. And there you go, perfect. All right, this is looking good. We're getting to the end of it, don't worry. We're gonna take the clay strips and add a very important part, which is right over here where a lot of muscles meet up and it creates this bump. So again, always be subtle about things, don't go crazy. You know, there is the beauty in the subtlety of things. That is actually really true. So just a little to indicate that there is a bump over here will suffice or suffice. I have no idea. I'm gonna check that in a second. Anyways, let's see. I'm gonna add a little more over here. And then I'm gonna smooth this out and refine it with the scrape brush. And finally, we can call this done for now. It's looking really nice. Hopefully you guys learned a lot of things with this video. Yeah, perfect. And that is the final result. I just quickly cleaned it up for the video. And as you can see over here, I rendered it out. So yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want more of these kind of contents, let me know in the comments below. The bonus contents are up on my Gumroad, and you can check all my social media right now with one handle. So I changed the handle to @YanSculpts, and that makes it a lot easier for you guys to check it out. So do go and check it out. And for this video, that's about it. That's it for this video. I will see you guys real soon.